Kush's movie review.
Yes, welcome to Kush's movie review of Deadpool and Wolverine. Now, we are going to do it slightly differently, so I'm going to give you guys a heads up, a quick disclaimer. So, for those watching the standalone YouTube version, you're fine because you've seen the disclaimer in the title. And so, if you're still watching this and you had no idea what we're going to talk about, then that's on you, my friend. I'm afraid the thumbnail helped you out, the description helped you out. I don't know what else to do. But for those watching the full version of the podcast or the audio version of the podcast, so Kush is going to do a short non-spoiler review of the movie. And then we will give you the warning when we are going to discuss the spoilers of the movie. Now, so again, for those watching the YouTube version of the full podcast or the audio version, in the description, there will be a timestamp, which I'm going to tell you when it's, if you haven't watched the movie and you want to watch the movie and you don't want it spoiled, when Kush says, okay, we're going to talk about spoilers now, you can fast forward to the safe zone that I'm going to put in the description. I think that's fair.
I think that's fair too.
Marvelous. Right. There you go. Deadpool and Wolverine. Kush, what's your quick thoughts? Spoiler free.
So, like you mentioned at the top of the show, Mike, we're in a rare situation. It has happened before where you and I have both watched the movie and then we'll discuss it in my review. However, what is rarer than that is you actually got to watch this before I did. I just
Right.
did this thing opening preview Thursday night, and I just, because of the schedule this week, I just couldn't do it. So I saw a Monday morning screening matinee of Wolverine, Deadpool and Wolverine. Hard R. It's a very hard R. There's lots of F-bombs, which who cares? But there's a lot of blood, and there's a, not a spoiler, but Deadpool uses a cadaver at some point as a weapon, and the various parts of that cadaver, and just murders people in the most violent and perverse ways ever. 2 hours, 8 minutes. Maybe we shave off 15 of those. Okay. However, it's perfectly fine runtime compared to other movies, superhero related or not, where they're like 2.5 hours. Oh, 2 hours, 45 minutes. No, could be a little shorter, but 2 hours, 8 minutes, not bad, not terrible. This is directed by Sean Levy. He's lately been a big fan of the Ryan Reynolds. He did The Adam Project, which I did not see on Netflix. He did Free Guy, which I personally hated, but that was a crowd favorite, regardless of what I thought of it. Like, people love Free Guy. That's it. For you to say that, that's actually kind of shocking, because I know how big of a fan you are of the Ryan Reynolds. This is also written by Sean Levy, had a hand writing in this. Ryan Reynolds finally gets a credit writing on this movie. He had a hand in the last two, but for whatever reason, they were just like, we're not adding you to that. We're not giving you that title. Anyways, everyone else, sorry guys, there's 5 writers on this, including the 2 we just mentioned. So Rhett, Paul, and Zeb also had a hand in this.
I love Zeb.
Anyway, this stars the aforementioned Ryan Reynolds, Mr. Hugh Jackman coming out of retirement to play the Wolverine one more time, although it's a different Wolverine, but still. And then this is my first time experiencing her, but from Netflix's The Crown, Emma Corrin. She plays a character called Cassandra Nova. Quite frankly, I found her terrifying. Like, I thought she did a really good, she played a very great villain. It's a shame. Since it's multiverse, we can always see her come back. But it's a shame this was one and done for her, because like I was just like, this woman, I was like, she is so intimidating. The least she says, the more intimidating she is. And by the way, she gets that mind molestation thing going on where her fingers are in your skull, and it was just like, I hate all of this. So, anyways,
yeah, for those she is, if you don't know the lore, she is Charles Xavier's twin sister. Or something
depending
like
on what universe we're in, she's definitely a sister. I don't know if they were twins.
So she can do the mind fucking thing like Charles Xavier can.
And very grotesquely too. It's just like, oh, I'm uncomfortable here. Please stop doing that. So we've been kind of covering this since it was announced here on the Waffle Box, and my attitude going into it is just like I'm not a fan of the Deadpool character. I understood why people enjoyed the first one. I actually found part two very enjoyable. In fact, that opening scene where Deadpool is confronting Vanessa's murderer, I was like, that is a beautiful fucking scene. Like, it was just well shot, well choreographed, drama. Like, Kush Hayes shed a little tear before we even got into Celine Dion's opening song. I was like, holy shit, that's a great opening. Um, but I was not excited about this. And this was just when we knew it was just Deadpool 3. Um, and then we started hearing things about Hugh Jackman was coming in, and I was just like, Mike, this is just he's just gonna be there for like 5 minutes and tell him to fuck off, and like this is gonna be a whole lot of stuff. But then they went like, no, this is Deadpool and Wolverine, and I was like, all right, we might have something there, but I still I don't have my hopes up going into this. Long story short, was not looking forward to this. Ended up actually enjoying it. Again, it's every Ryan Reynolds movie for the past decade. He's Ryan Reynolds, he's Deadpool. There's lots of quips. They're funny. Most of them hit. Um, Ryan Reynolds, for some reason, likes to shoehorn in 90s pop music and whatever girly 70s disco tracks. I'm used to it by now. It's never annoyed me, but even some people on the phone were like that I was texting with, who thankfully didn't give me any spoilers, are like, I really liked it, but I hated the soundtrack. And I was like, you really? Have you not seen a Ryan Reynolds movie? This is
I
this
thought
is
I,
not,
I thought compared, if you've already watched Deadpool 1 and listened to the soundtrack and listened to the soundtrack of Deadpool 2, I thought this soundtrack was on point.
yeah, no, I have no problem with the soundtrack. I was like, but I was also like, this is everything I expected in a Deadpool 3 movie, you know? Um, yeah. Having said that, really enjoyed the movie. Uh, Surprised me how good it was. Hugh Jackman bringing that goddamn drama, dude. It was like I didn't get misty eye, but I was just like, damn, I feel bad for this Wolverine. Like this Wolverine's been through some shit, and he caused it on himself, but also he's just like I think both of us with our twerk talk earlier, I think both of us have been there. We're just like, ah, yeah, and then Deadpool's whole thing about like needing to find purpose. Dude, other than losing a loved one, losing sense of purpose is like maybe the worst thing a man can go through. So like again, I was just like, oh, we actually these characters actually have like some depth right now. Like uh, Ryan Reynolds, you sneaky bastard, you're pretty good about that because you do all the quips and the homoerotic puns and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, and then you're just like, oh, I'm grieving the loss of my wife. Oh, oh,
Yeah,
I
he
need
does,
to
he does it.
save these 9 people I love. Like,
He just keeps doing all these silly, stupid jokes, and they get sillier and sillier and more childish, and then suddenly off a cliff of, oh, he's doing some serious stuff now. So it catches you off guard so much so
mm-hmm,
it makes it even more jarring. And so you are more
yeah. Yeah. And no one ever talks about that. So we just talked about it. Um, yeah, I can't front. I had a great time. I enjoyed it. I even saw it sober on a Monday morning, which is even unusual for Kush Hayes. But I'm giving it a 4 out of 5. It's not the best movie I've seen this year. I don't even know if it's the funniest movie I've seen this year, but it's very, very enjoyable. I don't think I'll go back to the theater to see it. However, when it comes up on the Disney Plus, I'll push play. Yeah. So again, 4 out of 5. That's our non-spoiler review for if you're doing your taxes or folding laundry in the background. I'm stalling here to let you know we're now gonna go into spoilers so that Mike and I can talk about this because there's stuff to talk about, and we're doing this in 5, 4,
I'll give it a little bit longer. So we're gonna. So yeah. So
3.
dude, you're doing something. Get ready to pause this or fast forward to the timestamp below because get ready, my friends. We are about to spoil the shit out of Deadpool and Wolverine. 5 more seconds. You have been warned.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, we're getting this.
You have to respect the countdown music, Kush. All right, let's get into it.
I do.
Right, how do
I
you want to do it? Because I'm assuming we're not going to go this scene by scene, but let's
Of
let's
course
talk
not.
about what was
But what
your
do you?
thoughts, right?
Mhm.
We'll hit the big stuff. Because a lot of people before, and I even mentioned it in their funny teaser videos of stuff like how we're not gonna touch the Logan stuff. It's gonna be a different universe. It's gonna be a different thing. And then they went right into Logan.
Mhm.
Did you love that? Did you hate it?
I enjoyed it. Yeah, I thought it was very funny. I thought it was very amusing. Again, like some of the most painful deaths I've ever seen on in a film, but it is funny. Um, I really enjoyed the part where he well, one, he's using Wolverine's femur and thigh as nunchucks. That was quite amusing to me. I liked him using Wolverine's spine and skull as a mace. And I thought it was actually really cool when he put on the claws and started doing the Wolverine pose. And I was like, I wonder if they're going to keep that on. Spoiler in the spoiler review, they do not. Like
They don't.
they immediately dismiss it. I was like, oh, like that would have been a cool gimmick to have the entire movie. But no, I enjoyed it.
I think the time comedic timing of it though, when he was digging up the corpse of Logan
Mhm.
and doing the whole, well, if you don't, if everyone thought he was dead, but that's not how regeneration works, ha 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 ha. And then he's like, fuck, fuck, fuck.
Mhm.
And then in the crowd, so the movie theater I watched, it was packed, it was full.
Mhm.
One of the biggest reactions of the whole movie was that bit where he was like, well, I'm no doctor, but, and it zooms out, you are dead.
Yeah, he's just hanging out there with the corpse. He's even got him all propped up and got Wolverine's skull skeleton cross-legged. Like it's funny comedy. It's good comedy. Ryan Reynolds is a funny guy, and again, he's also a very good dramatic actor. So I'm glad that they sprinkled enough of that in because it's in there. It is in
And
there. Like,
I watched a video of where it was like, breaking down the Easter eggs and stuff like that. They did it side by side where they put the skeleton in the same position as when he got impaled, and he's sitting there, and Deadpool is sitting there where the little girl was sitting when she's like, "Don't die."
oh, gotcha. Okay,
Pretty damn clever. Pretty damn clever.
yeah. Well, they're really good at creating a one for one scene from, if not a previous movie, a previous comic book. Like we get into a montage where Deadpool has gotten his Deadpool's been abducted by the TVA, the Time Variant Authority. And then I still don't understand why they pulled him out of Universe 10 million and like want you to be in proper 616, which is the Marvel Comics universe that everybody knows. Um, I still don't understand why they did that. However, I guess they had to do it so that Wolverine could headbutt the guy, steal his little time travel device, and try and find Wolverine. And going through the various Wolverines, I enjoyed that montage as well. We see Tiny Wolverine, which was actually comic book
Yes.
accurate Wolverine. I was like, oh, that's adorable. That's hilarious. Like that's what it would have been. Um, you
Even
you
the cavalry.
Oh yeah, the Cavalrine was fun. That was fun. I'm trying to figure out if that was what that's a specific reference to. Like, was Henry Cavill up for Wolverine once upon a
I
time? Like, I
don't
know he's
know.
up for James Bond, but I don't think he was old enough to be Wolverine in 1999, 2000.
But I did like the Deadpool quip of like, "We'll take care of you better than those assholes down the street."
Mhm. Yeah, no, that's fun. There's a lot of industry jabs. Obviously, there's a lot of "fuck you, Fox." Um,
That
Disney
okay.
doesn't
That
want us to do this.
I was gonna
Uh,
try to find that clip because that was gonna be
mhm.
the intro of, but I don't know why. That might have been the biggest laugh that I had throughout the whole movie.
Again, it's
When
of all the fourth
when
wall
Deadpool
breaking
finally
stuff.
finds out he's joining the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Fuck you, Fox. And then he headbutts the fucking monitor.
Yeah,
Like
screw you,
that's
fucks! I'm going to Disneyland.
oh, he drops
Uh,
an F bomb. He doesn't.
No, he said
Him
screw
saying
he said, screw you, Fox. I'm going to Disneyland. Fuck. So he says fuck something. I can't remember exactly what he says
no.
again.
So you asked me to help you try and find that audio clip, and when I typed in "screw you, Fox," it came up "fuck you, Fox." So That's a and I just saw the
Hmm.
movie Monday,
Doesn't matter.
so it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But that's a very funny scene. Yeah, again, I like the Wolverine montage. Again, like we see Wolverine missing his hand. We see him with the eye patch from his original short series. Um, there's a scene where he's crucified. That was pretty fucking intense. That was surprisingly more intense than the actual comic book itself at the time.
Well, yeah,
So,
I didn't because I'm not well versed on the comic books. So
hmm,
I watching it in the movie, I was like, "Holy shit, what the fuck?" And then I later found out that yeah, that actually happens in a comic.
yeah, yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
With the exception of the Calvarine, all of those were comic book references. So like there's a scene where he's hanging out in the alley and he's actually missing a hand. That's a that's a comic book reference. I want to say Days of Future Past, but I might it might be another alternate future where they have to save the day. Anyway, um, yeah, that was a good montage. And then what else? Geez, so cameos. Yeah, I thought it was fun. We got to see Chris Evans. And
That
yeah,
was
that threw me off.
good.
I was like, oh, did they really bring back Captain America? No, they brought back Johnny Storm. And I was like, okay,
But
that's fine.
everyone, including Deadpool, thought it's Captain America.
Yeah, yeah, because he's been Captain America for the last 15 years. Yeah, it was a
That
perfect.
again, we it's no surprise that this man has very good comedic timing. But when he was like, "Flame on," and Ryan was like, "Wait, what?"
Mhm. Yeah. He's gonna say it. He's gonna say it. He's gonna say Avengers Assemble. Yeah. Anyway. Um, what else? And then the other cameo.
The
So yeah,
other, like, I thought Chris Evans as a cameo was like mind blowing,
yeah, yeah.
but then the other ones we got, I did not see them coming at
I,
all.
not only did I not see those coming, but again, going back to our spoiler-free review, Chris Evans' length of the movie, I honestly thought was what we were going to get with Wolverine. And
No,
then when we do get the other cameos, like, well, they're going to be here for 5 minutes. No, they're actually here for quite a while. They are main supporting players. Um, we're talking about Laura X-23 from Logan. She is a full lady now.
she's a
That's
good grown up
crazy.
now.
All grown up and speaking perfect English. Congratulations, Rosetta Stone. Um, Electra, Jennifer Garner. And then it took me a second. We were like, "Oh, is Daredevil here?" And he's like, "No, he ain't here." I was like,
That's the Ben Affleck
"Ah,
one, right? I don't think Ben
that
Affleck
is
is
the
in
Ben
it.
Affleck one." They were married. I forget if they were married before or after Daredevil, but now they're divorced. And so she's like, "Yeah, we're not missing Daredevil. Don't worry about that." And then of course Wesley Snipes' Blade shows up. That was quite a nice surprise.
Yes,
And then they even again industry jab like there's only one blade, and there's never going to be another, and then just that look at the
Deadpool, wink.
yeah again because Mahershala Ali is supposed to be the new Blade, but that was announced 5 years ago. Now, to be fair, there's been a pandemic, a writer, and an actor strike. Excuse me, not a director, an actor strike. So there's three things that's been holding that up. However, they've not even gotten to the pre-production, past the pre-production stage. Like that thing is just cursed, and we might not ever see it, honestly. Um, however, there actually has been a second Blade. Are, are you familiar with the rap group Onyx? They were a thing in the '90s for a minute.
Yes. Is it like ONYX or something?
Yeah, yeah, and they had the one song Slam, da 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 da. Let the boys be boys. All right. Anyway,
Sure.
that's their big hit. Um, one of the dudes in the group, his name was Sticky Fingers, and he played Blade on a very short-lived TV series, Blade, the TV series. He wasn't bad, but the show was not good. So I do have to correct Wesley on that. There's been more than one Blade. But yeah, you are the original and you are the best, sir. So and then
The
still on
Pierre
cameos
de
here,
Resistance.
Channing Tatum's Gambit. One, I
That
was
popped
surprised they
me.
did that, and then I almost started laughing for the wrong reasons when he started talking. I was like, oh my God. But he sold it, man. He did. I'm not gonna say he stuck the landing, but he did not deviate. He kept that thing going. Wolverine, Deadpool making fun of him was very funny. But I believed he was Gambit. I was like, oh, this was going to be the Gambit we were going to get in like 27, 2017. When did the original Deadpool come out?
2016.
Okay, so this was so yeah, 2017. Channing Tatum's Gambit got shelved because they were trying to make a $150 or $150 million movie for Gambit, and then Ryan Reynolds made Deadpool for like 60 million, something. It was nothing compared to what they make movies for today. And then of course that thing made 300 plus $1 million, and they're like, yeah, we're not doing your $150 million Gambit movie anymore. Stupid, get out of here. And so that movie got shelved. So I guess this was a way to make it up to him, but it was interesting to see what his Gambit would have been. Will we see it after this now? Remains to be seen. But they had a funny
I
scene. Oh, go
if
ahead.
I had to guess, and this would be a total guess, depending on because I enjoyed it, you enjoyed it, but based on the overall reaction of Channing Tatum's Gambit, I wouldn't be shocked if there's one of those like short, like maybe like a 4 episode Disney Plus shows with it, maybe. Depending on
Uh,
because I think he would do it for the cheap because this is one of his, this is like Gambit to Channing Tatum is like Deadpool to Ryan Reynolds. This is like he's in love with
mhm,
this character. So
I
I
understand that.
I, I could see him saying that happening, but
Mhm.
who knows? Total
Yeah,
guesswork. Who knows?
yeah. Again, the original Deadpool put the nail in that project's coffin because they were just like, oh no, we can make a successful superhero movie for half of what you're asking, and maybe I would like to think like we'll figure out a way to slash the budget, but I think they just made up their minds and like we don't have any confidence in this. Um, there was a interesting scene where they're all the five or six of them are all talking, and Deadpool, Elektra, and Blade are all like, someone knocked on the door. It was the TVA, and then I got abducted and sent here. Gambit's story is quite different. He's like, I don't even know how I got here. I think I was just born here. And that's because, again, the project got scrapped. So that it was just immediately just
He
thrown
got
into the thing.
he got X'd before he even got beginning. Hence
Yes.
the I was born here. It's a very good
Yeah.
line.
It's a good line. And then he also makes another quote, like, I think I'm gonna make my name here. Well, and I was like, we'll see. It was a good action. It was a good action scene, good fight scene at the end there, or second to the end. Um, yeah, we shall see what happens with this. I would not be upset if we got a Channing Tatum Gambit again. Does he get his own movie? I don't know. Does he get his own TV show? Kind of hope not. They're all kind of garbage. Like
Loki was a great TV show.
I
I will
I
fight you
understand
on
why
that.
people liked the first season of Loki, and then I just was not into the second season at all. I didn't watch any of it, maybe one episode, but I did not get into it. But having said that, uh, because of the TVA, there's that Loki tie-in, and without having seen anything of season two, I don't feel like I missed anything. And it's one of those things like, did I need to see the first two Deadpools to understand? No, probably not. Did I need to see Loki? Actually, I don't think you do. They do a pretty good job of explaining what the TVA is right there.
Yeah,
Oh.
they do a quick. He does a quick synopsis of hey, there is we protect the master timeline, and this is what happens when shit happens, and now we have to erase some shit. Boom.
Hmm. So, um, we get the Deadpool core, which I could do with or
Yeah,
without.
yeah.
Um,
I wasn't that. Well, that
it was fine, but maybe that's the 15 minutes we could shave off of this thing because, like, yeah, they do that whole one take fight, and then everyone except for Nice Pool survived somehow. Um, I
but
was trying.
it did seem to me like they had that scene in mind. Ah, this would be really good. We have this epic fight scene where Deadpool and Wolverine kill 98, 99 other Deadpools.
Hmm.
And then the punchline is they all come back to life. But then they didn't have a get out of it. And so that bit where shit, what's his
Peter.
name? Peter turns up and
Yeah,
everyone's suddenly all nice. It's like it's funny, but it's like it wasn't a
yeah.
great way. Yeah, I didn't love that bit. I must
They
admit.
had to end it somehow, and of course, Deadpool loves Peter. That's a sugar bear. I love Peter, and apparently the lady from the TVA really loves Peter. I would have liked to have seen something extra with that, where they're like she just knocks on his door and then starts a thing there because those two were eyeballing each other for a minute. That was quite amusing to me. Anyway, back to the Deadpool core. Did you recognize any voices?
I did.
Who did you recognize?
Only one, to be fair.
Okay, who?
Well, I had suspicion, and then I looked it up, and I was correct in I guessed who played Lady Paul.
Okay, so I was completely wrong about that. I was like, oh, this is probably the Taylor Swift thing that everyone's been talking about since
Oh, that's a good
football
shout,
season.
though. It's a good shout.
I think we even talked about it on a previous Waffle Box. Like Lady Pool, that's Taylor Swift, right? 'Cause long blonde hair, swiveling hips. No, it's apparently Mrs. Ryan Reynolds, Blake Lively. So
But I know there was a couple other voices in there, but I can't remember.
so Matthew McConaughey was Cowboy Pool.
Oh,
And then I would probably have to look up the other here, but that was the other name that caught my. I was like, oh, far out, man. Matt McConaughey was in this. Good for him.
I did like if you looked in the background, obviously each Deadpool's different design.
Hmm.
I did like the shout out to Wrexham where there was Welsh Pool.
I saw Welsh Pool. I saw Scotland Pool.
Oh, I
Scott
didn't see.
Pool.
Oh yeah, yeah. He had the kilt. Yeah, I remember the kilt
Yeah.
guy.
I believe there's a Moon Knight Pool, or that could have just been some Peruvian guy. I don't know, honestly.
And
Um,
I didn't notice it when I was watching it, but some keen eye has screen captured it and zoomed in. There was a Deadpool where his suit was the Avengers suit from when they go back in time in Endgame or Infinity,
oh,
whatever.
I don't think I noticed that.
No, yeah, I didn't notice it at the time.
Nathan.
This was like someone
Yeah.
saw it online.
You had to catch that Easter egg video.
Yeah.
Nathan Fillion was Headpool. That's
Who's
the
Nathan
severed
Fillion?
head. Nathan Fillion is in Firefly. Um, he's been in a bunch of stuff. He
Oh,
was.
I didn't look this up following, but I thought for some reason I thought the Easter egg was because his voice sounded familiar to me. I thought the headless Deadpool, or no, not the headless Deadpool, the head only Deadpool, was voiced by the guy who voiced Deadpool in the video game a few years prior to
Oh,
the movie
copy
coming
that.
out.
I see what
And
you're
I thought,
saying.
oh, that'd have been a cool Easter egg, but I didn't follow up and look that up.
He
Whatever.
may have still been
Maybe I
in
was
the
wrong.
movies. No, but no. Nathan Fillion is Headpool. Um, the two Reynolds childs. Uh, Kid Pool is, I guess, Ryan Reynolds' daughter, and then Baby Pool. I don't know what gender Olin is, Olin, but that's also him and Blake Lively's kid. Um, Paul Mullen, I don't know who that is, but he played Welsh Pool. There's a Canadian Pool.
Oh, Paul Mullen he is a striker who plays for Wrexham.
Of course he is. Of course he is. Oh, that's Welsh Pool. Gotcha. And then yeah, I was surprised at the cameos we got that weren't played by the original actors. So, like, example here, and I have this in front of me. The guy who played Toad was not the guy from the original one. Why
Was
am I
he
blanking?
not?
He was not.
He did a great enough job and looks kind of. They did the makeup very well then because I thought it was the same guy.
They did the makeup very well, but they never really focused on him. It's all very quick cuts or moving around. But some dude named Daniel Ramos played him as opposed to Ray Park, is the name I was blanking on, who was a Toad as well as a Darth Maul. Uh, Apparently, flashing your dick on Instagram will get you removed from a Ryan
Ah,
Reynolds movie.
I was gonna
That is
say
fucking crazy.
surely he wasn't too busy for this, but I guess it
He
wasn't his
was
decision not to be in it.
no, no, and then Dogpool, I believe, has been brought up on a dumb world record on a previous Waffle
Oh,
Box.
is
That's
that the world's ugliest dog?
Peggy the Pug. I'm positive we brought her up once upon a time, or at least
The world's officially world's ugliest dog or something, right?
yes, sir. And then Juggernaut, the X3 X-Men United Juggernaut,
That was supposed to
not
be Vinnie Jones.
not Vinnie Jones. It is some other bodybuilder named Aaron Reed, and he is quite intimidating in his 8x10 here.
I wonder why Vinnie
Uh,
Jones wasn't asked or wasn't in it.
because they filmed that shit in London. So great question.
Hmm.
I bet if we looked it up, I want to say there's a story out here where he's just like, I had a terrible time doing it, or it wasn't worth him traveling to it because they also do it in Atlanta. But I know they filmed a lot of this in London because of the Wrexham TV show. Because co-owner of the Wrexham team, Rob McElhenney, is a TVA soldier, and that was the whole thing in
Oh.
season 3. They went to the set of Deadpool 3, and it's one of those things where like, so this is a Marvel project, so we gotta blur out all of this except for Rob's face and Ryan's face. And like they're literally walking down a row of trailers. They're not even on a set, but like everything is blurred out except for McElhenney. And then because they can't, and they try to make sure that you didn't know what character he was playing, but then like Ryan Reynolds will go like, well, he might be this guy in this mask costume. He might be this guy in this mask costume. And they have him this full length triple fat goose parka. I guess it's cold, but also they are doing everything they can to conceal McElhenney's costume. However, there's a few shots where TVA is just right here, despite how tight that fucking parka was. And I was just like, oh, so he's a member of the TVA. I don't know which scene he's in, but that all happened here. So those are to the best of my knowledge, those are all the unknown cameos. But what did you think? Going back to cameos, the main four. We talked about Channing Tatum. What did you think about the other two? The other three?
The cameos?
Yeah.
I
Like I
thought
like Blade. I like Blade.
I
I
loved
liked
Blade.
Electra too.
I liked Electra, but I kind of like there could have been others that have been more of like, oh my God, that they could have brought in.
I have to. I have. So this
But
was definitely like a love letter to the Fox
yeah, I was gonna say it's like they could
franchise.
have brought in some like if they I don't know if they obviously maybe they might have they couldn't get
Blade is
them
new
or
line
whatever.
cinema. I know.
Like, and they could have got other X-Men from the old X-Men. But then I was thinking about it. I like how they've spread it out a little bit
Mm-hmm.
across. So they've got an X-Men, they've got someone from the Fantastic Four in there, they've got
Mm-hmm.
someone from Daredevil. So I like how they did spread it. So it kind of made sense in that sense. But
Okay.
as I
Okay.
said, there could have been others that I would have popped harder for
Mm-hmm.
than Elektra, but I thought she was very good in this, and I thought it served its purpose very, very well. So yes, hats off to all the cameos, and it was like I like the fact that they didn't overkill it because it left me wanting more. Like
Okay.
after
Yeah.
the movie, after I kind of decompressed and kind of consumed it in my brain, I did kind of
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, it would have been cool if there was more. Whereas I could have when you're in this multiverse environment
Mm-hmm.
and it's a Deadpool silly movie, there was a part of me before seeing it where I was like, I hope they don't go overkill and just ruin it.
Yeah. I
If that
mean,
makes sense.
again, I was
So
this
I think
movie's
they did a
biggest
perfect amount of
proponent
cameos.
going into it, and I thought they did everything near near perfect.
Do you know, going back all the way back to roughly the beginning of the movie, what I thought they did a very perfect thing is
Break it
even
down.
though I wasn't thinking about it,
Mm-hmm.
they gave a reason to why
I'm sorry,
what
this movie's
Deadpool
up
was
on me.
doing during the end game
Mm-hmm.
situation. At that point, he'd given up being a superhero and was selling used cars. I liked that. I don't know. Again, they didn't need to put that in there, but I kind of dug it that they made an excuse for Deadpool not being Deadpool at that time
Mm-hmm.
and era.
Do we again? So I'm fresher on this than you are, but do we remember where he lost his purpose or whatever? Like he they bring it up and then they actually show like him and Vanessa breaking up, and that's kind of
Yeah, they kind of
that wasn't the
glossed
best
over
scene.
it, so I think they left it
Okay,
up
so
for
he just
you. Because
Okay.
at the end of Deadpool 2,
Everything is right as rain.
everything is right as rain. He brought her back to life. Everyone's
Hmm.
happy. And at the beginning of Deadpool 3, Deadpool Wolverine, they're separated.
Hmm.
So, and the way they kind of did some flashbacks, and after Cassandra Nova fucked with his brain, and we had some more flashbacks,
Hmm.
I kind of guessed that after he fixed it, quote unquote, and brought her back to life, he decided, I'm not going to risk messing with anything, so I'm going to stop being a superhero. And I guess lost his way, and that's where she fell out of love with him, I guess.
Okay.
But yes, I had to guess that. I had to piece that together myself, so they didn't really piece it together very well in a
Better
movie.
explanation than what I got. Yeah, I still don't know. So yeah, I'm still confused with why they pulled that Deadpool out of universe 10,000 and like we want to put you in Marvel proper. I don't know why they wanted to do that, and then I don't know why they broke up. But I've had that conversation by the way with the girlfriend at the table. Like, so what do you want to do? I don't know how to fix this. You just want to break up? Like, I've been there. It's
I'm keeping the toaster.
counterproductive. Keep the toaster.
It's a good toaster.
Okay.
Um,
That's a reference to something I'm not getting, but that's okay. That's okay.
no, it was just the first inanimate object that come into my head.
Fair enough.
Fair enough. That's how my brain works. But yeah. The ending. Let's talk about the ending real quick.
Yeah, man. What are we going to talk about?
I thought again they did a masterful job because it was an ending which once it was done, where Deadpool and Wolverine teaming up and holding hands to save the world, it was
That is true.
so
The world was saved because these
cheesy.
two men held hands.
It was so cheesy and obvious, but
Mm.
yet at the time I didn't see it coming.
Yeah. I was so they get into this whole situation where like you got to bridge the connection between the matter and the antimatter tubes, and Deadpool's just not that long enough, and he's trying to pull the cable, and he can only pull the cables. And I was like, just use your sword, stupid. Just use your sword and
That's
stab it
true.
thing.
Could
And
have
then,
done.
but then Wolverine showed up, and then they held hands, and it was fine. No, that's a
Exact
super.
same ending as the first Guardians of the Galaxy, I might add,
I doubt they did that on purpose, but yes.
where they would have been destroyed, but because they all held hands, they had more power and they survived.
I mean, getting into men talking about their feelings at the top of their show, that scene makes me cry.
Guardians of the
I
Galaxy does have a lot
I
of
love
tear
Guardians
jerky
of the Galaxy.
moments.
No, dude, that first movie is amazing still. Um,
Hey,
Wolverine, this variant's Wolverine, again, like I said in the non-spoiler part, like Hugh Jackman brings the goddamn drama in this, dude. Like he's the perfect counterbalance for Ryan Reynolds' wackiness. Um, could he have done more? Should he have done more? Like again, 85% of his performance is fuck you, stab, stab, stab. However, then there's times where you're just like, I failed everybody. I can't forgive myself. I hate this. This is a terrible burden I put upon myself, and I don't know what to
when
do.
he's
Like
when he's talking to his quote guess, clone slash daughter by the campfire,
X-23.
and he starts crying real tears.
Hmm.
Oh, and she says, oh, and that bit that got me, where she was like, "You don't have to say it." And he goes, "No,
Hmm.
I need to say
Doonies.
it."
Yeah, man. Sometimes you need to say that shit. And she
Got me,
was not
man.
prepared for that. Like, not necessarily him saying it, but like what he said. She was like, "Oh fuck, it was worse than I thought it was going to be." Oh Jesus Christ.
Oh, I just thought you left the gas on. Oh my God.
So, and then let's get back to Cassandra Nova, dude. She's a great villain. She's a great villain. I think they could have done more with her. I'm not saying they didn't do enough, but I would have again always leave them wanting more. But I think they could have done more with her.
Well, that
Um,
is the beauty of the current multiverse phase that Marvel's in. It's
mhm.
almost like this is an audition. Because if people like her,
She
then
would
they
have killed
can
it then.
magically make her come back again from another variant or some shit.
I mean, as always, when I do my prep for this, I was like, oh, I don't know this actor. What do I know this actor from? So I can like give some references. Like Sean Levy did Free Guy, and oh, he also has Hugh Jackman experience. He did Real Steel, the Rock'em Sock'em Robots movie from 15 years ago.
So bad.
Oh, really? I think it's a delightful children's movie, but it's a children's movie. So anyway, um, Emma Corrin, she does a lot of, I don't want to say wafy stuff, but it's like, like BBC proper. So like she was in, well, not BBC. She was in Netflix's The Crown and
She
played
was
Princess
Princess Diana.
Diana for eight episodes. I've not seen one episode of the show. Again, this is all on my notes here, but like she's in a version of Pride and Prejudice, um, Anna of Green Gables. Like she's in all that fancy shit. So for her to like just be in this comic book movie and then being like one of the most intimidating villains I've seen in the MCU in a while, I was just like, damn, this bitch is killing it, dude. Like, I want to see more from her now. She should definitely do more villain roles. I don't know what the hell she's been doing.
Oh, she should definitely keep that look as well. Never grow
Oh
your
yeah.
hair back.
I think she'll disagree with you on that too. However, I found it interesting that she looked very much like James McAfee.
Right?
Yeah, like the eyes, the rotation of her face, like I guess the skull helps, but like yeah, just definitely the eyes. I was like, is that really James McAvoy's sister? Oh shit. Um, but yeah, she was amazing. I wanted to see more out of her.
But you was right in sense of like she was a very intimidating villain because even in that short window when she was technically a good person again, or
Very short one.
she turned nice for a short time. Even then, it was kind of like,
This bitch is gonna do
really?
something.
There's gonna be a catch here. There's gonna be a catch. But yes, incredible work, incredible work. What else can we talk about in this movie? What else happened?
Yeah, I mean, geez, I don't.
I
I
guess
think we hit
ultimately
all the big strokes.
the last thing I guess we can talk about is theories moving out because obviously Deadpool suggested, or no, asked Wolverine if he was going to see him again, and Wolverine said probably not, and then walked off. But then they had dinner at the end, blah blah blah. Um, and then they had the nice Fox Universe tribute music video over the
Mhm.
credits. But also just the way it ended. Do you see this? I can't see it like just because of the money involved and how successful it is. But this also kind of wrapped up in a way like if we never see another Deadpool movie or Deadpool, I wouldn't be shocked. This
Yeah, same.
seemed like a very
Finite
like
ending.
tie and knot, boom, perfect three
Mhm.
movies. There you go. What do you
I
think?
because so this it's now Wednesday. I think it's like August 1st or whatever it is. It's a full week since the movie's come out. By Monday morning, the matinee that I saw worldwide, this thing made over $400 million again worldwide. It made $211 million domestically. It broke all sorts of stupid records. It's the highest grossing R-rated movie of all time. It is the sixth highest grossing movie of anything. Um, I don't see us not getting more Deadpool. Do we get Deadpool 4? I don't know. Is he going to pop up in an Avengers movie? If he does, I think he has to be in it very little because you can't keep breaking the fourth wall in an Avengers movie or a Guardians of the Galaxy movie. Like those movies are also over the top, but they still have a bubble around them, whereas Deadpool is just that motherfucker will kick the box open. And again, he grabbed the cameraman in a scene, pulled him off to the side, grabbed the boom mic, made a declaration, and then headbutted the camera. Like you can't keep doing that. You can't do that in Avengers Doomsday. So I don't know. I don't think we've seen the last of Deadpool with Ryan Reynolds. How much more we get of it, that I don't know. Have we seen the last of Hugh Jackman as Wolverine? I don't think he gets exhausted doing all those sit-ups and eating 6,000 calories a day,
I think it was
just to get that.
8,000 I last saw.
If it's 12,000, whatever, man.
It's
Like
ridiculous.
he 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 is not getting younger, and to keep that six pack going even for 5 minutes, it's a lot of goddamn work. And I know that's why he was happy to do Logan and like just end end the career. Just like, I can't keep doing this, guys. Like, I know the ladies like me with my shirt off, but this is ridiculous. Like, I it's exhausting, and I get it. The reflection of perfection here gets it. But yeah, have we seen the last of Wolverine? Because we can have a Wolverine movie with his shirt on.
Yeah,
Um,
he could keep doing the yellow outfit, but this time with the sleeves and everything. He doesn't have to show anything.
yeah. What did we think of the uniform? I was he made it work. I
I
think
thought
that would have looked silly in the year 2000, but in 2024, I don't know why. 24 years, 25 years later, it worked. He made it work.
oh, and when he put the hood on as well.
I was,
Oh,
you know what? I was for a second I was like, oh, that's ridiculous. But I was like, nope, he's making it work. He's making it work.
well, I think it's because obviously the way I guess the costume works once it's fit and blah blah blah, and I guess because of the eyes, some of it is CGI'd on as
Hmm.
well.
Has to be.
Because like Deadpool, his eyes on the mask were emotive; they were kind of
Hmm.
moving about. But yeah, when he started pulling on like one of those like Hello Kitty hoodies, I was like, oh my God, this looks ridiculous. But once it was on and he was ready to go, I was like, that looks
Hmm.
fucking badass.
He made it work. So,
And that great
um,
scene where him and Deadpool jumped out the back of the bus together and then
yeah,
Deadpool fell on his face. That was great stuff.
it's comic accurate, and that would have happened in the comic too, where they would have had that dope pose, and then the next panel would have been Deadpool flat on his face, going, "How did I fuck that up? I fucked up the landing. Oh my God, what the hell?" Um, yeah. Again, this was a huge surprise for me. I I thought this would have been very mid, as the kids say, mediocre, as I would say. I no, I really enjoyed it. I had a good time. Again, I saw it sober, which is actually a rarity for me on this show. Um, do I want to see it again? I, I'm not in a rush, but I enjoyed it. I couldn't tell anyone to not see this. I couldn't tell anyone really a negative thing about this. There's, nitpicks, and I love to pick my nits, but this is an enjoyable film. Yeah, they did a good job with it. That's called being objective, kids.
I won't get off that
So,
fence yet. But yeah, I agree with your overall score. 4 out of 5. There could have been bits there that I don't think they could have made it better, but like I said, I think there was certain things in it that it's like they could have done without that. And it would
oh,
have been
well,
better.
break it down, man. This
Well,
this is the time.
I just think
Okay.
the 100 Deadpool battle
Yeah,
and the
okay.
way they got out of it with Steve or whatever his name, I keep forgetting his name.
Peter.
Peter.
Okay.
Was
Peter Pool.
it this seemed even though it made sense, like you say, Deadpool loves Peter, so it makes sense that all the variants love their Peter. But it just kind of went where they're all trying to massacre Deadpool, but all of a sudden, oh, you have a Peter too? Oh, now we're all.
Mhm.
It reminded me a little bit of Batman and Superman suddenly becoming best friends because their mother's name's Martha. It kind of like gave me horrible flashbacks to that. So maybe that's why it was. I didn't like it. I didn't
Well,
love
they
that bit.
definitely didn't become best friends, but I understand what you're saying.
No, no,
Batman
I
v
remember it almost
Superman.
like in the next scene, Batman's talking to someone, and he's like, "Oh, I'm Batman. I'm Bruce, or whatever. I'm a friend of Superman's." He introduces
Oh
himself
yeah,
as a friend of Superman.
yeah. Well, because he was trying to save Martha Kent, and it's like, I tried to murder your son, but now I've changed my way. Yeah, no, he can't go into law, so he has to say, I'm a friend of your son. Um, Dead, Dead, Deadpool versus Batman versus Superman is the worst, most hostile reaction I've ever had to a movie, to the point where the next day, the dude I was hanging out with was like, I know we were saying we're gonna get drinks, but I gotta go. And I'll tell you what I did in a minute, kids. However, the next day I'm looking in the mirror And it's like, the fuck is wrong with me? It's just a movie. Superman's been rebooted so many goddamn times. Who cares? Like, this isn't this isn't real life. It's yeah. You did way too much last night, Kush. You did way too much to this movie here. And ever since then, I haven't had really any hopes up for any movie because I didn't have hopes up for that movie. I was just like, I don't ever want to go through that again. However, here's where I fucking lost my shit. So again,
I'm sorry for bringing this up now.
no, it's actually very funny. It's a jab at me, but I still find it funny myself. Like you just said, these two are trying to murder each other, and then in another scene, Batman's like, "I'm a friend of your son's." That part didn't piss me off. What pissed me off is he's walking, he's like, try to. He was trying to make a difference, and now I'm going to pick up his mission statement and I'm going to carry that forward. And I was like, you were trying to murder this motherfucker just 20 minutes ago.
A fucking kryptonite spear to his throat.
He had kryptonite grenades. Gas propelled grenades with kryptonite.
You wanted to end this mofo.
If there's a 1% chance it could be evil, you wanted to kill Superman. Don't pretend you weren't trying to do that, Batman.
And now suddenly you're the best member of his cult.
Yeah, you're his biggest fan now. Fuck you, Batman. Also, so finally we're at the funeral, and then that dirt starts levitating off the casket, and then we get the title card directed by Zack Snyder. I flipped out both birds and screamed as loud as I could for all 500 people to hear me over the loudest music. Fuck you. I don't want to scream into the microphone, but I want to still explain what happened there. And that's when, like, my friend next was like, yeah, I gotta go, dude. You're mentally imbalanced. Later. So, since Batman v Superman, I don't get my hopes up, and I don't really have too many disappointments these days because I'm just like, it's just a stupid movie. Despite the fact that I do this reviews every week, it's not that big of a deal, guys. I've actually seen a couple of people go like, fuck Deadpool and Wolverine. I was like, what was your problem that day, dude? Like, this again, I was this movie's biggest opponent going into it. It's very enjoyable. It's very enjoyable. So
yeah, if you're not familiar with our work, throughout the whole build up of this, even from the very beginning, I was like, oh my god, I can't wait. Oh my god, I can't wait. And Kush was like, whatever, it's probably not gonna be that good.
I was expecting your disappointment. I was expecting you to be disappointed. I was expecting everyone to go like, it's the third movie. Third movie always sucks. Why is the third movie always gonna suck? This is actually one of the better third movies.
Better than Back to the Future 3, that's for sure.
Oh, I really like that one.
It wasn't bad, but it wasn't great.
Yeah, we can debate about that later. Anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Deadpool Wolverine. There we go. Let us know what your thoughts in the comments section below. If you loved it, you hated it, yada yada yada. Like the video, help the algorithm, and all that bullshit. But yeah. Thanks for watching Kush's movie review of Deadpool and Wolverine. We'll see you again soon.
That's all, folks.
Pay me off, Johnny.